Hey, what up y'all? Mr. Cruz here, the hardest worker in the room, and in today's video I'm going to give you guys an inside look into how I made the beat for Notification. So I'm a little salty because this is the third time that I'm recording this video, because both times I either forgot to record the camera or I forgot to hit record on my screen recorder program.
So what I'm gonna do is go ahead and leave, because right now I'm feeling very fragile.
The beat, Notification by Khara. I've kind of actually shopped that beat around to a ton of other artists and nobody took me up on it, so I'm glad that she did. And it's actually a really simple beat in terms of the melody and mostly some of the drums, with the exception of the hi-hats. One of the things that you'll notice here is that, first of all, I'm in Reason.
Oh my god, what is that?
Even though now I'm FL gang. And then you'll also kind of notice that I don't use any loops. At the time I was a little bit bitter about other producers using loops, and so I was not using them, and I made a lot of my beats from scratch, and this is one of the beats that I had made from scratch. I use loops now, but I was in a different headspace back then.
David, nobody cares. I got it.
So I started with this. I start my beats out with a melody first, and I started out with this flute melody that I played. And it's really only a 2-measure loop. And then I also have this sub melody behind it. And the cool thing about that sub melody is that I use the trick that I use oftentimes when I'm stuck, when I've got a really good main melody and I'm trying to create a sub melody behind it. I'm just coming up with nothing. So I'm gonna show you guys how I did that. What I do is I pretty much take the main melody and I'll time stretch it and pitch it down. Now in this case, I didn't necessarily time stretch it, but what I did is I took the main notes that are hit at the start of the melody and I pitched those down. I pretty much just made them longer and I pitched them down. So I took this one, I took this one. So let's delete all of these here, and let's make them all the same length, and then let's stretch them. So then this, let me see, down 1 octave. So we'll see how similar that sounds to the original, or to the main sub melody that I created here. Now, of course, with the sub melody, I kind of added a couple of extra notes and chord just to kind of fill that space out. But then that's how you kind of come up with that and the little arcade vocal loop. So what I did with the drums, I usually start my drums out with the kick and the clap in this case. Usually I stick with the snare because I'm kind of old school. I just have a preference towards using snares. But this was just a simple kick and clap pattern. And then on top of that, I added a snare and a rim shot just to fill out some of that empty space between when the kick and the clap are hitting. And then I use some more percussion instruments in order to fill out even more space, so that there's kind of little to no dead space. Dead Space, man, what a freaking good game that was. In between most of the kick and the clap. So then I use some other percussion sounds just to kind of give it that bounce. I kind of like, I see it as like a wave, like it's going doop, doop, doop. Like it's kind of like ebbing and flowing. So I kind of use the other percussion instruments to kind of give it a little ebb and flow kind of feel. So it goes doop, 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 right? So you'll kind of hear that here. And then I threw in some crazy hi-hats. Now, one thing you should know about me is that when I was growing up listening to hip hop music, listening to a lot of my favorite songs, one of the things that I did especially when I got into production, is as I was listening to a song, I would try to count how many instruments were being used, especially with the drums. What I started to notice was the songs that had the beats that I liked the most, oftentimes I would lose count of how many instruments they used. I kind of had that little influence on myself. Like, I was making beats for 16 and 15-year-old Mr. Cruz to be able to like trip him up. Like, yeah, I'm only going to use 7 instruments, but I'm going to do so many crazy things with it that he's going to think he's hearing 17 and he's going to lose count. One of the ways that I do that is through hi-hats, and obviously, like, you know, pitching the hi-hats up and down and adding the triplets and stuff like that. I'm going to play it without the hi-hats, and then we'll throw the hi-hats in, and you'll kind of see how much hi-hats really add to the element of drums. Right, they kind of give it a lot more life, and they kind of make it a lot more interesting. So then, I mean, you throw everything else in together, and then it just sounds freaking epic. So that's what I got for you guys today. Thank you guys so much for checking it out. Let me know in the comments below if you have heard Notificación by Khara. Man, shout out to Astro Gang, shout out to Khara, shout out to Julian. Man, you guys did awesome. I'm so happy with the way the song came out. Love the track, man. Been listening to it so many times, man, so many times, over and over again. Check out the links in the description so you guys can check them out, and also check out the original video. Outside of that, it's your boy Mr. Cruz. Out.